checking out the show. Let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you're representing. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. Family, I'm going in on this one. We got a Southport mass shooting suspect identified as Nigel Edge after this deadly attack on a crowded North Carolina restaurant. We got yet another mass shooting in the U.S. The suspected gunman who opened fire at a crowded dockside restaurant in North Carolina, killing 3 people and injuring 8 others, once identified himself as a wounded Iraq veteran and filed a slew of conspiracy Latin lawsuits earlier this year, records show. So this is a former military guy. It's a guy who said he was wounded in Iraq, and he filed a slew of conspiracy Latin lawsuits earlier this year. Nigel Edge, who appears to have changed his name from Sean DeBevos in 2023, was arrested Saturday night after he allegedly pulled up to the American Fish Company restaurant in Southport Yacht Basin, about 30 miles south of Wilmington, and began spraying bullets into the crowd of unsuspected diners, authorities said. Family, this is my first time reading this, so bear with me. Edge, who's 39 years old, was armed with a short barrel AR rifle equipped with a suppressor with a folding stock and scope, court documents show. And check this out, fam. The dude, after he shot up the people, he got away on a boat. So he didn't have a getaway car, he had a getaway boat. Edge faces 3 counts of first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted first-degree murder, and 5 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. The motive has yet to be determined, police said. I don't know if the motive has to be determined. The motive is he was mad. You're dealing with an angry dude who has some mental issues. That's the motive. He mad, he tired of living, or at the very least, he's tired of getting up like hundreds of millions of people do all over the world every day, including little children and old folks and handicapped people who get up every day and go about their business of performing their duties, whether it's going to school or going to work or volunteering for an organization. People get up every day. Many people who, some of these people consider to be the weaker of society. They get up every day and get out there and go get it. Today is Sunday. Some people don't have the luxury of taking today off, taking off the Sabbath day. Some people don't have that luxury. They got to work. But they do it. They don't want to, but they do it anyway because it's their duty. A lot of these dudes who commit these mass shootings, there's a common thing that, besides mental illness, there's a common thing that most people don't talk about. And that is the fact that a lot of these dudes, they just don't have the gump to do what millions, hundreds of millions of people do every day. And that's continue with life, to go about dealing with the structures, the struggles of life. Even just the basic things of just working, being able to deal with the basic responsibilities of paying bills. Some of these dudes, they can't do it. They can't do it. And they won't admit that they can't do it. They will not admit that they can't do it. Rather than admitting that they can do it and trying to seek help, they just take out a gun and then just start shooting people at will. I didn't mean to show that logo because they ain't paying me, so I ain't trying to give them no action. I normally would have done that before the live, but this is a breaking story, so fam, I wanted to jump on this as soon as possible. As soon as I got my hands on it, I wanted to jump on it. But they said the motive has yet to be determined. Homie, don't think so. Records show that Edge has been behind several bizarre lawsuits filed in North Carolina this year, including one accusing a Southport church of trying to kill him. The suit filed in May claimed the Generations Church was behind a civil conspiracy masterminded by the LGBTQ community and white supremacist pedophiles to kill Edge because he's a straight male. In January, Edge filed a similar suit against the Brunswick Medical Center, accusing it of being part of a conspiracy launched by the LGBTQ white supremacists who were allegedly out to get him because he survived their attack in Iraq. Was that a separate attack in Iraq? Was his mind playing tricks on him here? So anyway, he said both lawsuits were dismissed with prejudice, according to court records. The wild claims in the lawsuits echo those detailed in a book written by Sean DeBevo's Headshot: Betrayal of a Nation, where he claims that he was shot 4 times, including in the head, by friendly fire over international conspiracy. He claims he served in the Marine Corps and was deployed to Haiti and then served 2 tours in Iraq when he found himself in the middle of the conspiracy ring. The Marines did not immediately respond to the Post's request for comment and confirmation of Edge's service. Following the mass shooting, police said the gunman quickly took off on the intracoastal waterway and was spotted at around 10 p.m. trying to load a vessel along the marina on Oak Island. He was arrested by the Coast Guard. Edge was being held at the Brunswick Detention Center without bond, according to court records. He was due to appear in court on Monday for an initial hearing. Southport Police Chief Todd Coring said the investigation was ongoing as he asked for people to keep the victims in their prayers. We're a small community, one of the communities where anybody and everybody knows everybody, the chief told reporters. It's just a very tragic night. Coring was set to provide an update on the case later Sunday morning. So that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on an update. But so far, 3 people are dead, 8 have been injured. And we are waiting for an update on their condition. And also any information that the uncivilized mutt may have shared with the police and any information they may have found. I wonder if Donald Trump is going to chime in on this and ask that this guy be put to death. Because, Trump, he'll step in from time to time. Oh, damn, that's right. You got to be black. You got to be black. Trump don't care about white people getting killed unless they're killed by a black person. That's right. I said it. I said it. And he ain't the only one. It's a whole lot of white people out there do not care about white people getting killed unless they're being killed by a white person. And I'll go ahead and say it, fam. I'll say it. I'll go ahead and say it. Just to be fair, there are a lot of black people out there who don't care about black people getting killed unless they're killed by a white person. Yeah. Well, that truth is something else, ain't it? See, a lot of cats, if they had a show like this, they would just pander to their audience. They wouldn't tell their audience that flip side. They'd just have you focused on one side, one thing. But I'm gonna give it to you, fam. I gotta call a strike, and a ball, a ball. I gotta call a strike, and a ball, a ball. It go both ways. But it does amaze me how much more some of these people are concerned about cases if it involves a black person killing a white person. Boy, they want revenge. They want to change laws. They got all kinds of stuff to say. Sometimes you never even hear about from any of them, especially like these celebrities. They never say anything about anything until it's a black person. It's a black person accused of something egregious. Now they got a comment to make. Now they want to say something. Now they want to voice their opinion. Yeah, so anybody surprised that we woke up to the news of another mass murder, mass shooting? Anybody surprised? I would like to be surprised. That would be, can you imagine, fam? Remember there was a time when we didn't wake up to the news of a mass shooting every day. At one point, there was a time where it very rarely happened. Rarely happened. I mean, years could go by. And then it started becoming more frequent. Then it started happening. It seemed like it was like almost maybe, seemed like it started happening once a year. And then it was like 3-4 times a year. And then it was like once a month. And then it was like once a week. And now we're at once a day. And guess what, fam? If you take a look at the trajectory, we're on our way to multiple times a day. Probably already at 1.5 times a day already. It'll be multiple times a day really, really soon. While you're covering one shooting. In fact, where it wasn't a mass shooting, but you have these shootings that happens all the time. On the day that Charlie Kirk was killed, a mass shooting occurred. Yeah, you had an uncivilized mutt go and shoot up a school. So, mass shootings in America, it's a thing. And the trip part about it is they playing politics with people's lives. Yeah, they're out here playing politics with people's lives. And so I really don't see it slowing down. Damn, stopping it. I don't even see it slow down because it's too many people getting paid under the table. Well, at this point, they're not getting paid. They're not even trying to hide it. They're getting paid right there in your face. They showing you stroking the check, and they stroking they stroking the check. At this point, they got the big old display checks now. You can just show it like, look, I got paid to not do anything about gun violence. It's crazy. But they won't step out there and do anything about it. It's just excuse after excuse after excuse. It's pray for the family. You know, it's let us pray. And that's sad. That's so sad. But nobody does anything about it. And they go to the next thing. And here we go, another killing. Here we go, another killing, another killing, another killing. You know, there'll probably be another mass murder, a mass shooting before today ends. You know, they like to shoot on the weekends for some reason. They like to shoot on the weekends and at the top of the week. I don't get that piece, but yeah, there'll probably be another mass shooting before the end of the day in America, in the United States of America. Yeah, so it's a cold game, fam. Cold game. If you're just not joining, we got another mass shooting. The suspect is identified as Nigel Edge. This latest shooting happened at a restaurant in North Carolina. The suspected gunman used a getaway boat, not getaway car, a getaway boat. He killed 3 people and injured 8. This guy once identified himself as a wounded Iraq veteran and filed a slew of conspiracy Latin lawsuits earlier this year, records show. So he was arrested Saturday night after he allegedly pulled up to the American Fish Company restaurant in Southport Yacht Basin, about 30 miles south of Wilmington, and began spraying bullets into the crowd of unsuspected diners, authorities said. Can you imagine, fam? You ain't even safe at a marina. You know, you're not even safe at a restaurant on the water. You know, it's supposed to be a romantic evening out. At the very least, a casual, relaxing evening out. You know, you're on the water. You're eating at a restaurant on the water. And some fool pull up on a boat. This ain't a drive-by. This is a sail-by. This ain't even a sail-by. He got out. He got off the boat, walked up to the people and started shooting. Got back on the boat and took off. Like, you literally not safe anywhere. Anywhere. Would have been nice if I had heard that somebody that was there returned fire and downed him. That would have been nice. That would have been nice to hear. Yeah. That would have been exciting, actually. I would have loved to report that. Nigel Edge was taken into custody on Saturday night. Nigel Edge lived life on the edge. Nigel said that he was an Iraq veteran and he took some shots in Iraq. Came home, he wrote a book about it. He's been charged with 5 attempted first-degree murder counts and 3 counts of first-degree murder. So this dude was on the edge already. He was suing churches and suing restaurants and all kinds of stuff. This may have been a situation where it was another restaurant. That restaurant could have been a situation where he felt like somebody harmed him or whatever, so he came out and just decided to kill innocent people. I don't understand these uncivilized mutts that behave in that manner. I'm very capable of defending myself. I'm very capable of harming somebody who tries to harm me. But I do not, and I don't mind it being on my record that I downed somebody that tried to harm me or mine. But I don't want on my record that I killed not one person, not one innocent person. I don't want that on my record. I don't want it on my record that I just randomly killed innocent people. Like, if you want to do something, like, it's so many real causes out there. You know, there's some real people out there doing real harm. There's people out there doing real harm to people every day. And we know who they are. Like, if you just really want to get active, there's a lot of people, man, out there who are really evil, who are really making life hard for everybody. Life is getting harder in America. It's getting harder and harder for Americans to feel safe. One of the big reasons is because the leadership is off the hook. The leadership is unhinged. The leadership, they don't even try to make an effort to make people feel safe anymore. All they talk about is violence and this people and that people. And man, how you gonna represent? Okay, here's the deal. This is the type of leadership we have now. I run for office. And you know, in order for me to run for office, there's going to be people that's voting for me, and then there's going to be people that vote against me. But they're all in my district or my city or my state, whatever I'm representing, right? Or even my country. They all live, you know, in the area where people are voting for me, right? They're all constituents, whether they vote for me or not. I still, if I'm elected, I still have to represent them, even though they didn't vote for me. I still have to represent them, meaning that I have to go out and I have to make every effort to do right by my constituents. I got to do right by the people who voted for me and the people who didn't vote for me. I got to do right by everybody because I'm representing everybody. What these politicians today have decided to do is, I'm representing this side, and if y'all over here didn't vote for me, F y'all, and I don't care what happened to y'all. You can die. In fact, I'll help you die. It's like, I don't give a damn about the rest of y'all. But at the same time, I'm still benefiting from the tax dollars that the rest of y'all pay. I still benefit from that. Y'all still, because your guy didn't win don't mean that you don't get to pay taxes and that you don't get to be a law-abiding citizen. You don't get no, and because your guy won, because your guy won, this group over here, you don't get any extra privileges. Like, you don't get any tax breaks because your guy won. You don't get to pay a less amount for your groceries or a lesser amount for your gas because your guy won. If you pay less for gas, they also pay less for gas. If you pay less for your groceries, they also pay less for their groceries. You don't get to do nothing. You don't get nothing out of it but the opportunity to beat your chest and brag about it. My guy won. So my point is, everybody, I'm still representing. I still have to represent. If I'm elected, I still have to represent everybody in my district, my city, my state, my country. But the leadership today has drawn a line in the sand and said, if you didn't vote for me, F you. And y'all are bad people, y'all are evil, and y'all are nothing. But at the same time, they get the benefit from all the people, from having all the people. You know, they get the benefit from that. The crazy part is this group and this group still have to commingle. They still have to work together. They still live in many of the same communities. They still get on the plane together. They get on the train, the buses. They share the parks. They share the stadiums, the sports stadiums, the entertainment facilities. They still share federal buildings. They still come in contact with each other. They still have to commingle. They still have to coexist. But all of this is happening while they're at war against one another. And it is because of the political climate, the leadership. The leadership is responsible for the way that people are behaving. They're responsible. They have no truth whatsoever. They talk, these motherfuckers are ignorant. There ain't even no difference in the way that they talk, in the way that they behave, than a regular person on the streets. They just have a title. They're in a leadership position. The girl that Laura Loomer, she called Jasmine Crockett a B. She called her a B just because she felt like it. Now, she's an activist, but she's still in a leadership position. The reason why she could say that and not feel any retribution for it is because the leadership starts at the top, and that's what they're doing. They're cussing every damn day. They acting a damn fool. They act like, they ain't got no class whatsoever. But they're at the top. They have zero class. And it trickles down to the rest because other people are saying, well, damn, the president talks like that and they're okay with that. Well, that must be what they want. So that's what I'm going to do. So now you got the FBI director cussing people out on a daily basis. Now you got the chief of staff, the press secretary being disrespectful, cussing people out, talking crazy. No class whatsoever. Acting like uncivilized mutts. Laura Loomer is ghetto because I had never heard Jasmine Crockett get out of pocket like that. I never heard her call a constituent or a colleague the B word. Remember, most of the time when they accuse you of something, they're guilty of the exact same thing. So Laura Loomer is really the ghetto woo-woo-woo. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. No class, man. It's sad. This shit is sad. No class. Hey, I'm a regular citizen. I get to cuss. I get to cuss when I feel like it. I'm a regular citizen. But when you're holding office, you're supposed to exhibit a certain level of decorum. And we know these people cuss in person, you know, in their private lives. We know everybody cuss, right? Even the pastors, everybody cuss. I don't care who they are, everybody cuss. They may not cuss as frequently as you or I, but everybody cuss. Everybody cuss. Babies cuss, old monks cuss, nuns cuss, the Pope cuss, everybody cuss. But it ain't what you said, it ain't what you say, it's how you say it, and it's where you say it at. It's when you say it. So the leadership in the U.S. today, they ain't got no filters. They gonna say whatever they want to say anywhere, even on the House floor. They are uncivilized mutts. And you know what? It lets me know how many uncivilized mutts are out there, because for every one of them, they got tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, or even millions of constituents, which means their constituents are uncivilized. You gotta be an uncivilized mutt to vote for an uncivilized mutt. Think about that. It's like these dudes out here who saying that they're, what do they call them? These pedos who are saying that they identify as child something. They identify as, it's a euphemism they use for being a pedo, right? They're saying, they're trying to make being a pedo something that's acceptable in society. So they're saying that they are, let me see if I can find that phrase. Child lover or minor attracted person. Child lover, pedos are now trying to be identified as child lovers or minor attracted person. When you hear child lover, when you hear the word lover with anything, you think love. Love sounds good. But then you hear lover, like you can hear car lover, right? You can be a lover of cars, right? That just says you're a lover of cars, right? Obviously, lover has other connotations, but let's focus on this one. The lover part, house lover. Well, that just means that you're a lover of houses, right? A lover of children. Well, don't we all? You know, that sounds plausible. That sounds like on the surface, that don't sound bad. You're a lover of children. That means you love children. No, but not in the way that we know it is, lets us know something more cynical is at play here with this word play. Minor attracted. I'm attracted to minors. Oh, we know what it is. We know the negative connotation that's associated to it, but minor attracted. I'm attracted to minors because I love minors. See how they try to fix it up and shape it up and bend it and twist it and try to make it acceptable? No, it ain't no way around it. They're pedophiles, point blank, period. But they have people out there right now who have civic positions, and some who have run for bigger positions, who have run for Congress and senator, who call themselves minor attracted. And they got a bunch of votes. What does that tell you? I told you, fam, like, if you find one of them that's uncivilized, who's in office, or who's even running for office, then somebody's voting for them. Somebody's sponsoring, somebody's putting up money toward their campaigns. So that means there's a whole lot more of them out there. Think of any politician you know today who you consider to be an uncivilized mutt. Now, we're trained to focus on them because they're the one out in the front. But for every one of them, they have tens and tens of thousands of constituents. Sometimes millions of constituents who are just like them. That's what we're up against. That's what we're up against. Uncivilized mutts. This country is going to hell in a handbasket. You know, the only reason that I care, and I hope that it doesn't, it's bigger than me. It's for all these youngsters who haven't had a chance to live their life out and determine or figure out what they want to do, you know, and take advantage of just, you know, living, you know, having a life that they want. I really do care about the youth. And it's sad that we're leaving this country in such bad shape. It's sad that the leadership in this country has failed the children, and they continue to fail them because in reality, they do not care about the children. They do not care. In Texas, they got a law that allows school administration, teachers, to identify children who are homeless or who come from unstable families, to kick them out of school. Did y'all know that? If you are homeless, or if you come from an unstable household, they can make the determination to kick you out of school. So you know, with a rule like that, there are going to be uncivilized mutt educators who are going to take advantage of that rule, and they're going to stretch their authority, and they are going to kick kids out of school who they deem to be in an unstable household. What is unstable? What does unstable mean? It could be that the kid don't have but one meal a day. It could be that the kid have a hole in his shoes. It could be that they heard the kid had an argument, or their mama talked down, or daddy talked down on him, or spanked him or something. It could be that the kid have to walk to school, anything. unstable. Do you understand that damn near every household in America these days are unstable? The teachers themselves can get kicked out of damn school. They should be kicked out because many of them come from living in unstable conditions. They live in unstable households, but they got the power to kick somebody out of school because they deem them to be unstable. Think about what I'm saying, fam. Households all over America. You got a lot of these people that's in position of judgment, their households are unstable. A lot of these cops, their households are unstable. That's why they go out into the streets and they become unhinged, because a lot of them are angry because they can't control what's going on at their house. They going out in the streets, shooting people, killing people, beating up people, violating people, talking crazy to people. And they go home and they got a wife that's 5'5", 100 pounds, soaking wet, that they can't control. And they mad, so they go out and beat up other people. You look at these judges, a lot of them don't have control at home. They can tell everybody else what to do, but their kids at home running wild. The kids won't listen to nothing they got to say. Pastors. Well, we've all heard the story of the preacher's daughter. But you also got the preacher's son. Some of these preachers' sons out here selling dope or they own dope. These are people who are in positions of authority who have unstable households. These teachers, some teachers, they only find power when they are at school and they can tell the kids, hey, okay, do this. I want this by then. You leave, get up out of my room, you know. They go home, no power whatsoever. Get pushed around by their spouse. Kids won't listen to them. They're out here grading tests, deciding which kid is going to pass, which kid is not, and their kid at home flunking out or then dropped out of school. But they get to decide who lives in an unstable household and who don't. You think that some of those teachers ain't gonna abuse their authority to kick certain kids out of their classroom that they don't like just because they don't like them? They don't like what they look like. They don't like what they sound like. You think some of them teachers ain't gonna kick those kids out of school? And the process to get back in to appeal is probably gonna be very difficult. So you have kids who are homeless or kids who are in an unstable household. Let's just say it was true that they live in an unstable household and they get kicked out of school. So now you have just taken away the one stable thing they did have in life, school. You've taken away resources that they have, the only resources that they have for to communicate with adults who are consistent. For some kids, myself included, when I was a youngster, those 2 meals that they get at school a day are the only time they might eat. Breakfast and lunch. They may not eat again. But they're going to take that away from them because they live in an unstable house or they're homeless. So you basically going to kick the kids while they down. You uncivilized mutts. I can't stand you mother. I can't stand y'all asses. Whoo, man, I can't stand you. I wish I could line them all up in one big old line and just wham. So this North Carolina shooter, this mass shooter, once again, this is a guy, he crashed out because he couldn't do what hundreds of millions of people do every day. And that's get out, get up, and go get something, make something pop. You know what I resigned to believe years ago, and I mean a long time ago. I had to be a teenager. I realized, I say, man, I realized life ain't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. This is how I cope with the bad stuff. I wake up every day thinking that life is supposed to be hard. So when it's easy, when something comes easy, I bask in it even more. Now, because I have the mentality that life is not supposed to be easy, it does not mean that I'm a pessimist. It means that I am a realist. This is why I don't panic. I don't go crazy. I don't lose it. I don't crash out when things don't go my way. I don't crash out when I'm rejected. I don't crash out when I'm disappointed. I don't crash out when I lose a loved one. I don't crash out when I fail. I don't crash out when somebody don't want to do what I tell them to do or I expect them to do. I just think life is supposed to be hard. So when bad things happen, I process it better because I expected something bad. And so when it happens, I'll just be like, oh, okay. Ooh. So when bad things happen, if I can solve the problem, the first thing I start thinking about is how do we solve the problem? Okay, it happened. Okay, how do we solve it? How do we solve the problem? It's one thing after another. How do we solve the problem? Instead of just, oh man, oh God, oh not this again, oh me, poor me, oh Lord. That ain't gonna get nothing done. That's just gonna make me depressed. That's gonna stress me out. That's gonna take some years off my life. I'm solution oriented. Okay, that happened. Can we fix it? Is it fixable? Well, let's fix it. Do we want to fix it? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be solution oriented. And so my thing is, the serenity prayer works for me. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the strength to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That right there, I'm on auto with that. That's my prayer. That's my greatest, most used, most recognized prayer that I have. I rock with that prayer. That serenity prayer, I don't think there's a stronger prayer out there because that serenity prayer covers everything. It covers every situation you could ever be in life. Think about that, fam. Break it down. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the strength to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Come on now. Come on. If I was a pastor, I'd make y'all give me $1,000 a sermon. Hey man, y'all, if y'all giving all these other pastors this money, they ain't doing nothing. They don't really love you for real. You know what I'm saying? I love you for real. I be like, look, $1,000. You gonna come up in here? If I'm gonna be up here talking, man, $1,000 a sermon, man. $1,000. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing. I'm messing with y'all. Wouldn't that be something though? I wouldn't be surprised if there's not some pastor out there collecting $1,000 a sermon though. You want to come in here, you know, admission. You pretty much paying admission. Come in here, sit down, okay. $1,000. Everybody put up 1,000. You want to hear this word? It's gonna cost you $1,000, and that's cheap compared to the information you're getting. Yeah, fam. So this is what we have to remember. These guys, they be crashing out. Obviously, America has a mental illness issue, and they refuse to put real money behind this. They refuse to put real money and resources, not just money, but other resources. We need all hands on deck in terms of mental illness in America. All hands on deck. We need that. You know, we need more mental facilities to accommodate the mentally ill. We need more awareness, more educational material. We need more commercials, more advertisement on the internet and on billboards and magazines and TV. America is sick, and its greatest sickness is mental illness. So we need that. Mental illness greatly contributes to all of this unrest that's going on in America. Mental illness. So we got to do something about that. But they won't address it. They will not address it. All they do is wait till the next killing, and then they say, depending on what the race of the killer is, mental illness. Mental illness. Okay, it's mental illness, mother. So what you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? They won't do anything, fam, because the money is in the medicine. We need mental health counselors. We need mental health counselors who actually go out on the scene with cops, not these regular cops. They need to have a different type of cop that's called for a mental health situation, a mental illness situation, because the cops, they're all designed. They program to kill. They are programmed to kill. So you can't call them. I wouldn't even take a chance. If I had a family member who was mentally ill and they was having an episode, I would not ever call the police. I don't give a damn what's going on. I'm not calling the police. I might call my neighbors, my family. I'll call anybody, man. I'll try to deal with it myself before I call the police. You call the police when you tired of them living, because you rolling the dice. If you call the police when your loved one is having a mental illness episode, you are rolling the dice, because they will kill them. That's why it's important for police officers to work the neighborhoods, to work the communities that they patrol, where they get their fat asses out of the car and walk the beat. get to learn the people, know the people in the community, and you can serve better because now you see, oh, that ain't just a crazy man. That's Marcus, man. He ain't tripping. He ain't gonna hurt nobody. He just tripping. He be doing this all the time. He ain't gonna hurt nobody. Oh, that's Marcus. He got a knife. I got a gun. I got a gun. I got a stun gun. My bad, fam. My bad, my bad. Battery was low. In any event, fam, it looked like I lost about 1,000 people who thought I was gone forever. Y'all gotta give technology time, man, to recover sometimes. You know, you gotta know when there's technical issues, man. But in any event, fam, Book of Matthew, have a good one, everybody. Da-da-da. Okay. So anyway, fam, where was I at? If you're just not joining, we're talking about the Southport mass shooting suspect identified as Nigel Edge, who was captured by the police in North Carolina after he shot up a restaurant. Yeah, the dude shot the restaurant up and he escaped on a boat. He shot the restaurant up and escaped on a boat. Nigel Edge, who appears to have changed his name in 2023, was arrested Saturday night after he allegedly pulled up on the American Fish Company restaurant in Southport Yacht Basin, about 30 miles south of Wilmington, and began spraying bullets into the crowd of unsuspecting diners, authorities said. Edge, 39, was armed with a short-barrel AR rifle equipped with a suppressor with a folding stock and scope, court documents charge. Nigel was taken into custody. Edge faces 3 counts of first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted first-degree murder, and 5 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. The motive has yet to be determined, police said. And as I was saying, these type of uncivilized mutts, they have pretty much given up, not necessarily on living. They've given up on trying. They've given up on working. They've given up on getting their lazy asses up and going to work or going to school or doing something to better themselves, as hundreds of millions of people do every day, including 4 or 5-year-old children who get up and go to school every day. Old people who have retired and unretired get up every day and get out there and go get it. So these guys have given up. It ain't that they want to, it's not that some of them want to die. It's just that some of them are indifferent. They're indifferent to dying. It don't matter if I die or if I live. If I die, it'll be over. If I live, at least I ain't got to get my lazy ass up and go to work anymore. At least I don't have anybody telling me to become something anymore. I don't have anybody on my back with expectations. I don't have to worry about a girlfriend anymore. I don't have to worry about getting my heart broken. That's what that is, fam. I'm telling you. They can't do it. They ain't got the balls to make it like everybody else. So they crash out. They start thinking about everything or everybody they hate. And they take a gun and they just start shooting random people, killing random people. When really, they should just go straight to the source and let it be over with right then and there. I wouldn't even want on my record that I went out and killed random people for nothing. Just because I was tired of living. That's goofy to me. That's weak. I know they think it's strong because they think anytime you get guns, they be thinking they strong because I got a gun. Anybody can shoot a gun. Anybody can pop a gun off. There are 4 or 5-year-old kids who have killed people, who have pulled out guns and shot people. Obviously, they didn't have the killer mindset, but they've accidentally shot people, or sometimes they purposely shot people, but they didn't know they were gonna die. So keep pulling a trigger. That ain't nothing. That don't really take no lot of nerves to squeeze a trigger. But them guns make a lot of these dudes feel powerful because they ain't got no power. They ain't got no power right here, and they ain't got no power right there. So they have to. So when they get a gun, it makes them feel powerful. The same thing like a lot of these cops. They feel powerful when they put their uniform on. Take the uniform off, they're just a regular old Joe Blow. What was Superman's name? Clark Kent. They just a regular old Clark Kent. Take the uniform off. They gotta have the uniform to feel worthy, to feel alive. Nobody listens to them when they don't have the uniform on. They just a regular old nondescript person. Nobody nobody looks at them, give them a second look when they're walking down the street or walking in the mall, walking in the store, nothing. But they put the uniform on, it's like respect, you know? Yeah. Shout out to all my homeboys who are cops. I got some homeboys, do good. Let me tell you something, I don't rock with cops just because they cops. You got to be cool for me to rock with you. The good cops, I know some of y'all say ain't no good cops. Yes, they are. I know some good dudes out there, you know. Just like people say, well, ain't no good teachers. There's good teachers out there. You know, you got to understand, fam, but they're working within a wicked system. The Board of Education, wicked. Teachers Union, wicked. Yeah, wicked. And they have to, you know, the superintendent, say, fam, they have to work within those confines. Think about it. You're cut out to be a certain type of person, to follow a certain career path. That is your passion. So you want to do it. You get into it because it's your passion, because you put your work in, because you went to school for it, you took a test and whatever. You know, you want to get a return on your investment also, but you're going to do this for a living. You're doing this for a living. And then you get in and you realize, yo, I heard about stuff being messed up, but I ain't know it was like this. But now you in it. So you end up just trying to do the best you can within this wicked system. Every single American institution is wicked. Every single American institution is corrupt. Every single American institution have evil people at the top. This is why we live in such a dangerous country. This is why we have so much homelessness. This is why we have so much violence. It's a social construct. It's not just the people. Yeah, you can blame it on some people or just bad people. You can blame that. Yeah, true, absolutely. But it is a social construct. I really, really wish it wasn't like this. I wish, man, I wish it wasn't like this. Because this country has a lot of potential. It's a lot of potential. But I think we've given up. I think we've given up on a civilized society. And we've resigned to just getting by. Just getting by. That's it. Just getting by. That's it. When I was a teenager, when I was really, really young, when I was a kid, I was like, man, I'm gonna change the world. Change the world. Do something big. Got to be a teenager. I said, I'm gonna change it with my music. I'm gonna change the world with my music. I'm gonna speak for the downtrodden. I'm gonna be the voice of the voiceless. I'm gonna call out corruption. I'm gonna call out police corruption. I'm gonna call out the corruption in these corporations. I'm gonna call out government corruption. I'm gonna call out the dudes in the streets, the gangs, and the women beaters and all that. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it all. I'm gonna call out the sorry women. Just everything that ain't right about society. I'm gonna call it out. Boy, and then those 20s hit, and I was like, yo, evil is at the top. This is why it's so hard for the good to get up there, because the good is out there trying to climb up the ladder. And the evil standing up there at the top just like kicking and stomping your hand while you're trying to climb the ladder. And even if the good get to the top, the evil puts so much pressure on the good that the good end up falling off the ladder again. Yeah, man. When I realized that all of this was a social construct that is meant to subjugate. The sole purpose was to subjugate, oppress, spread propaganda, to keep it going. And I realized how powerful the propaganda machine was and who's involved with the propaganda machine. And that's when you have to have a sixth sense. That's when you start getting into the 1%ers and all of that kind of stuff. Man, it's bad. It's cold-blooded. The more you know, sometimes, you know how they say ignorance is bliss? Sometimes it ain't good to know certain things, you know what I'm saying? Because it bothers you. It bothers you. Especially if you can't do anything about it. If you can't really do anything about it, sometimes certain things ain't even worth knowing. You know, I know most of us are knowledge seekers, but sometimes stuff ain't even, when you understand the gravity of some of this stuff, sometimes it's not even worth knowing. Yeah, man. Yeah. So this dude, there are people who could actually make this society that we live in a lot more conducive to fellowship, but they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Because they benefit off of us being angry at one another. They benefit off of us being divided. The trip part about it is, we don't know it, but all of us are really in the same boat. Let's see. Let me do some shout outs here. Give some shout outs. Let's see who we got. Mr. Jones, what's up? Yigwaba, what's up, Yigwaba? Cool Lady Cool. 5 Lucky Ducky. Dr. Rax. Bin Laden's Chopper. Miss Antoinette. Quita Sunshine Mac. YOLO. What's up, Ursula? Jackie J. Angela Datnack, what it do? Carlos Jones. China Carter is in the house. What's up, China? Judge Dreads. T. Gallagher. Abishimu. What's up? Lord Vanderpooley. Starbus Abyss. Ya Nathan, what's up? LG. Got Lord Vanderpooley, okay. Judge Dreads, Rapping Forte. What up? Brenda Turner. What's up, Antonio Tucker? D. Roberts. OGZ Hunted. Vietnamese style. Dre Rax. Barbara Johnson. What's up, Thaddeus Boyd? T. Ray. Retro John Tonio. D'Amico. What's up, D'Amico? PYT. What it do? All right, fam, that's my time. I appreciate y'all joining the live. Man, family, all I can say, man, give yourself a chance. Protect yourself at all times. Give yourself a chance. I would have really loved if somebody would have returned fire and downed that food before he could have killed not one person. There it is, fam. We wake up to yet another mass shooting in the United States of America. I guess one of these days we'll figure it out. Until then, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world, fam. No more talk.